Ladies and gents, welcome to the big one. That's right, we're gonna be doing this best movie of the year tier list. These are all the movies that I have seen and I've somewhat enjoyed. I got a little bit of something to say about it. They're not necessarily boring, but they are they got a reaction out of me, let me tell you. That they did get a reaction out of me. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, this is stuff I may have seen in theaters, or stuff I may have seen on streaming and all that, because there's some things that are just not, weren't necessarily available in theaters where I was at, and I live around Atlanta, so that should say something to you. But anyway, without further ado, let's begin with the first slam dunk. Now, this is an anime film that I watched, I think on Netflix, or if I'm remembering correctly, it was some streaming service, I forget, but I didn't think that an anime based on basketball would be that appealing, but it actually was. It's one of the best animation films of this year, and without a doubt, this will be going in A tier. Reason why it's not an S tier is because I played basketball as a kid. You know, I was in high school, I was getting those dimes, dropping those dimes and all that, just getting those slams, you know. But, I don't know, it's just missing a vital thing. I don't know, maybe my perspective on basketball changed or something, or my nostalgia for basketball changed or something, I don't know. But, yeah, it's a fabulous film. It's borderline A tier, S tier, in my opinion. Godzilla -1. Yep. We're going there, kind folks. This is the best Godzilla film probably ever made. Just to be clear, it is the best Godzilla film ever made, minus the first film, of course, but, you know, there's that. And, of course, the 2000 version. I mean, what are you talking about? 2000 version? I mean, come on. The donut-shaped building, I mean, what the heck? There's a hole in the building, what the heck, you know? Just perfectly staying up. No, I'm kidding. It's terrible. But anyway, this is everything I wanted a film to be, and surprising enough, I'm not a huge subtitle fan, but there's a few films that I will not mind the subtitles to, and this is one of them. So this, I'm sorry, S tier. S tier all day. All day. All day. Anyway. Poor Things. This is a film by, I'm going to mispronounce his name, but Yorgos Lanthimos. He directed a lot of very, very interesting films, to say the least. I think my favorite of his is probably The Lobster. Probably. The Lobster is probably my favorite of his, but also I did like his first collaboration with Emma Stone in what was that name of it? I'm forgetting the name. Here, let me double check real fast, because it got Emma Stone the Oscar, and she deserved it full-heartedly, but let's just see here. Emma Stone, Yorgos Lanthimos films, there we go. Poor Things, and there was another one, where is it? Not And. That's another one. That's another one that they're going to be making together. What is it? No. Oh, The Favorite. Why? I don't know why. I keep on forgetting The Favorite. Anyway, it's a fabulous film. Anyway, this was everything that Yorgos Lanthimos has. This is a very Yorgos Lanthimos film. Let me be very clear on that. It's basically Frankenstein in a very twisted, very bizarre way, and it's pitch perfect. I gotta say, it's so good. I keep on thinking about this film. I don't know why. I'm just drawn to it for some reason. Like The Favorites, it's very, very well done. I'm just top tier, and this should. I don't think it's going to, but as of this recording, this should get the Academy Award for Best Picture. But it probably won't. Then again, things have changed in the Academy. I mean, you got Everything Everywhere All at Once, something that I did not think would ever get the Academy Award for Best Picture, getting Best Picture. So there's that. But anyway, S tier all day. This is probably the best film. Spoiler alert. This is probably the best film I've seen in the theater, just to be clear. American Fiction. This, oh man, another banger. Another great, outstanding film. And I went into it blind, and I'm gonna leave it there because it's a whirlwind. It's a whirlwind, let me tell you. But anyway, of course, this gets an A tier. It doesn't quite crack the S tier for me personally, but I would not necessarily bat an eye if someone wanted to put it in S tier. The Holdovers, I mean, come on. This is another Christmas classic, okay? Some people are saying that this is that good, apparently, according to film snobs. I don't think it's quite that good, but it is very well done, let me tell you, okay? You got Paul Giamatti in here, okay? Paul Giamatti. I mean, come on now. I mean, it's about a curmudgeonly instructor at a New England prep school, remaining on campus during Christmas break to babysit a handful of students with nowhere to go. I mean, it's basically The Breakfast Club, but in college during Christmas. I mean, yeah, it's that good. Okay, come on now. It's really, really well done. It's hilarious. It's just a little bit that's really kind of detracts me from putting it in S tier, but I'm going to put it in A tier. Put it above American Fiction, honestly, but yeah. It's really, really good. I might watch it every Christmas now. It's going to be like back-to-back Die Hard in this, probably. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. My gosh. Okay, so a little bit of history with this movie. So this movie was actually brought up in the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial because the director, James Wan, I think, they didn't like her. It brought up because they didn't like her, so she had a smaller role in this film compared to the other Aquaman, but it was just because it was supposed to be like a buddy brother film between Aquaman and his brother. She didn't really have a big, huge part to begin with anyway. So yeah, there's that. And this is probably her final film in Hollywood. I mean, I guess she made a pornographic film as well. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to divulge that anyway. But yeah, this film's terrible. This film is really, really bad. I mean, it's the last film in the DCEU, okay? Because of a certain other film that we'll talk about as well. But yeah, this film is just not fun. It's missing its heart. It's missing the fun that we had in the first Aquaman film. And the DCEU is just going to die on a whimper, honestly. It's terrible. This film is just awful. I wouldn't put it in F tier, though. Like, there are some very, very minor things that I like about this film that keeps it from being being F tier. So I'm putting it in D tier. Again, not the worst, but it's a far worse film compared to its predecessor. And speaking of predecessor, John Wick Chapter 4. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the magnum opus. This is the magnum opus of John Wick films. If you got tired of John Wick, well, get ready, because it's about to get even more fanatic to the greatest extent possible. Gun Fu is back, ladies and gentlemen. My gosh, it's so... it's beautiful. It's awesome. Amazing film. It is a long one, but it's worth it, okay? This is like not... what is it? It's not a Killers of the Flower Moon levels of being so incredibly long, which we'll get to later on, but it's more like an Avengers Endgame type of 3-hour film. It's like, where does the time go? It's like it should be this long, in my opinion. But yeah, I just got a little butthurt at the end, which I'm not going to divulge here. In case you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you see it. But anyway, it's just because of that, I'm putting it in A tier right here. But yeah, it's still a fabulous film. And if it wasn't for the ending, I'd probably put it in S tier. But there's that, and of course we gotta get some kind of weird sequel to it, because I think this was the highest grossing John Wick film as well. So there's that as well. Speaking of that, Killers of the Flower Moon. Oh boy, here we go. Okay. Alright, let me just say this. I am not a huge Martin Scorsese fan. He's saying that superhero films are not cinema. They are. But then again, I'm not a huge, rich, successful director, so my voice doesn't count for anything. But anyway, he's been butthurt because he can't get his films into theaters these days. Barely, because, his films are getting a little repetitive to a certain extent. And yeah, this holds true for this. I do like some of his films, don't get me wrong. I like his Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro pseudo trilogy with Goodfellas, Casino, and surprisingly enough, The Irishman. I really do enjoy The Irishman, surprisingly enough, even though the CGI was a little iffy sometimes. I also liked a lot of his Leo DiCaprio, things that he had, like Wolf of Wall Street, Margot Robbie's first film. I mean, there you go. That was pretty enjoyable for the most part. Then some other parts were kind of, but I also I surprisingly like Shutter Island. I'm a Shutter Island fan. Yeah, sue me. I don't know. I also liked Cape Fear. Cape Fear was just a nice romp. But then there's some films. I guess Silence is also pretty good as well, but then there's some films that are just so bizarre and just so dark that I don't want to watch them again, although they're technically, I guess, well made. It's just, I don't know, dark for the sake of being dark, in my opinion. Taxi Driver, his Raging Bull. I was going to say his Rocky film, but yeah, Raging Bull. Don't like those films. This is more along the lines of those films where it's just a little too dark. It's not fun. It's not a fun film to watch. Let me tell you this, though. The acting, of course, it's spectacular, okay? One thing I can say about The Departed. I forgot about The Departed. What am I talking about here? The Departed was great. Anyway. But yeah, Leo DiCaprio, of course, brings it in a Scorsese film. He sleepwalks through all of his other films, but most of his other films. But when he's with Scorsese, he shines. Robert De Niro, he's in this film, he shines. Even Gladstone, who played the the Native American woman in this film, I can't believe she basically took a lot of scenes away from DiCaprio and De Niro. I was surprised. I was surprised at how great she is. That being said, this film is really dark, and it got to a point where I got so bored during some bits of it. Like, okay, I get it. Look, this is a good story to tell. I'm not saying that it's not a story that needs to be told, but you could have done it a little bit better, Scorsese. I mean, anyway. This story should be told. I don't think it was told that well with this film, in my opinion. But then again, a lot of people are saying that this is a fabulous film. It's not my cup of tea, honestly. That being said, I'm going to put it in B tier. It's just a little too long, in my opinion. If it was a little bit shorter, maybe I'd be singing a different tune. But yeah, Scorsese, superhero films are good films. Are actual cinema. So there you go. You produced a film, superhero film, Joker, so roasted. Anyway. Onward to a film that I barely felt the 3 hour mark. Oppenheimer. Ladies and gentlemen, we got our first... Oh, no, this is not our... I don't think this is our first. We got our semi-first Christopher Nolan R-rated film. The meme... Half of the meme of Barbenheimer, ladies and gentlemen. And in my opinion, the superior of Barbenheimer. By barely. Let me tell you, barely. Because both films were really good. Spoiler alert. But anyway. I gotta say, I was shocked. I was just shocked that there wasn't a single CGI thing in all the film. Because I could have sworn that there were some scenes where they could not have done that without CGI. But they did it without CGI. I don't know if that was a lie, but I hope it's true, okay? Because this film is gorgeous. This film is amazing. The only thing that I would detract from it, and it's a nitpick, it's kind of a nitpick, but there were certain parts where the dialogue was a little wooden. The dialogue was a little preachy, but then again, that's every Christopher Nolan film. I mean, that's even Dunkirk, okay? Dunkirk even had lines that were wooden and just explaining the plot or whatever, and explaining, oh yeah, we gotta do this oh yeah, I don't know, not Oppenheimer line. Oh yeah, so this bomb is gonna be doing this, and this, and all that. I'm the destroyer of worlds or whatever, you know? But anyway. Overall, I think it's a very, very well done film. That minor nitpick kind of detracts it. But because of this amazing film and how it's shot and how it's directed and all that. The fact that there's no CGI whatsoever. The fact that Josh Peck, set the bomb off, okay? Come on now. Josh Peck was in all the trailers. I was looking for Josh. I didn't see him until he got to the button, and I was like, oh, okay. Perfection. Cillian Murphy, fabulous. Honestly, he should get... I hope, beyond hope, he's going to get, an Academy Award. Robert Downey Jr., my gosh, I think he finally shook off his Iron Man persona. It's surprising, I know. But yeah, he's returned to, the life of a film star beyond Iron Man, It's just that good. It's so good. That's why I'm putting it in S tier. I think it should be nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it will win. Or maybe it will, I don't know. I know this film, Poor Thing, should be winner, but I'm thinking it's going to be this one. I'm thinking Oppenheimer is going to be the best picture for the Academy Awards this year. Maestro, a film by Bradley Cooper, which is absolutely incredible as well. I watched this on Netflix, actually. I couldn't find it in the theater around me, so I had to, once again, go onto Netflix and watch it. But still, it is an amazing, wonderful film. There was a huge backlash over, Bradley Cooper's nose because of the Jewish nose stereotype and all that. I was going into this expecting that, but I barely noticed after, 10 to 20 minutes. The film was just that good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, come on now. It's that breathtaking and amazing. Now this is a biopic of a composer. I would have to, if I had to choose between this and Tar, like last year's biopic kind of film, stylistic film about a composer again, I'd probably pick Tar, but this is still an amazing work. Let me tell you, Bradley Cooper's best work. And I'll tell you, A Star is Born, that's a pretty decent film. It kind of was detracted from me over the years since I've seen it, but this one, I think it's going to endure. I think it's going to endure here. So, because of that, I'm putting it in A tier. I'm going to have a lot of A tiers, just so you know. But we're getting there. We'll get to the stinkers. Don't you worry. But anyway, though, something that's not a stinker, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, other than the first slam dunk, the best animated film of the year, especially the best. It is especially the best American animated film of the year. It elevates the film, like the first film, and brings it up to 11 in this one. There is a Lego bit part of it. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me right now? Come on. This film is incredible. This film is amazing. I hate the fact that we're gonna have to wait so long for the sequel, because this is just amazing. This film is incredible. I'm not even gonna spoil any of it. There's live action scenes. Yes, there are live action scenes in this film, or live action parts of this film, and it works. This is the best. I'm going to say it. I know a lot of people don't want me to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is the best MCU film of the year. Yeah, I said it. Anyway, S tier all day. Technically, Slam Dunk is technically the best film I've seen animation form, but I enjoyed myself in this film a lot more than the first Slam Dunk. I gotta say. I don't know, I don't know. Anyway, Bao is Afraid. Oh gosh, I did see this film. I think it's going for something that the director wanted to happen, but couldn't really get to that point. I was checking my watch after the first hour, and it's 3 hours. Yeah. I will say it is directed pretty nicely. It's just a problem with the script. It's got that same thing with it's like a very existential horror film, kind of like Hereditary, and which he also directed, and that other one, Midsommar, which I did not like. That hit way too close to home. I'm not going to dive into that, but hit way too close to home. This one is just, it's just kind of meh. It's didn't really do it for me. I liked Hereditary, but I didn't necessarily enjoy Midsommar. This is along the same lines of Midsommar, in my opinion. Yes, it is technically good. It is technically well made, but still, I didn't really enjoy myself while watching it. So I'm gonna put it in B tier, along with Killers of the Flower Moon. Sue me, I don't know. Anyway, though, Sisu. This is a film that I watched, and it was actually very, very well done, well put together. It's a tragedy of war and all that. Let me just see what I did on Letterboxd here. Let me just pull that up. Starting to forget certain things these days. Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically, this film's basically Kelly's Heroes, except in Finland with Nazis and all that. I mean, yeah, it's a very well done film. It's more dark. It's a lot darker and all that, but still, it's a very well crafted film. It just, I don't know, maybe I'm just in tune with Kelly's Heroes a little bit more. Not Hogan's Heroes, Kelly's Heroes, the Clint Eastwood film. So yeah, once again, another B tier. It is technically well made, but yeah, still, I'm just not a huge fan of it.
Sorry about that. In between that little break I had there to cleanse my throat, I added a couple movies that needed to be added as well, and mixed up the order again and all that stuff. Whatever, here we go, back on the grind. Here we are. Scream 6. This was probably the best Scream I've seen since the first one, honestly. I mean, it's basically Batman but with Ghostface and all that. I actually really did enjoy it. Now, it also had Jenna Ortega in it, and you know, I'm a big Wednesday fan, and she's not necessarily, except for that whole COVID thing or whatever, she's not that, you know, controversial or whatever, unlike some other person is about to play Snow White. That's also in this movie, also in this list. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But anyway, what do I put? Where do I put here? I would probably put this maybe B tier, mainly because it could have been a little bit better. I thought I had a little bit more enjoyment out of Scream 5, honestly, but Scream 6 I would say is a little bit better than that, quality-wise, but enjoyment-wise is a little bit under for me. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Anyway, though, Ferrari. This was amazing. It was honestly wonderful. I would put... I mean, Adam Driver playing Ferrari is just absolutely spectacular. I'm going to put this in A tier. I'm just going to rapid fire through some of these because, you know, time to not waste any more time and all that. Leo, gosh. Adam Sandler playing another animated character. Oh boy. Okay, so this is honestly not that bad. It's not as good as Hotel Transylvania, in my opinion, of course. But all that being said, it could have gotten a lot worse. Let me just say it right there. It could have been far, far worse. But anyway, I would put this in B tier. Again, not a lot of C tiers. Borderline B tier, C tier for me. But then again, a lot of animated YouTubers love this film for some reason. But I can't really see it. It's an enjoyable film. It's just not, you know, my cup of tea, I guess, you know, that type of thing. Anyway, what is my cup of tea in the animation realm? TMNT Mutant Mayhem. Let me tell you something, okay? The last IP that I thought would get the Across the Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse style of animation probably would have been TMNT. I did not think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would get that type of animation style, okay? At all. At all. I don't even know what to say about this. But anyway, it's so good. I can't even begin to comprehend that. I mean, I would say it's slightly better than Rise of the TMNT movie that came out fairly recently. I think it was last year, actually. That's why it's not on this list. Actually, let me just look this up real fast. I think it did. TMNT movie. Yeah, it came out last year. That's why it's not here. But anyway. Yeah, so anyway, this is slightly above. I love Rise of the TMNT, don't get me wrong, alright? But this film, I don't know why, I just love this animation style. I love this animation trend going on these days where everyone, minus Disney, is doing this animation style because it works. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they save on animation so they put that money toward the writers or something, but the writing's excellent and the animation's really nice as well. I have no idea what's going on with this, but I'm just here for the party, you know? I'm here for it. Let's do it. So with all that said and done, probably wouldn't put this in S tier necessarily. Probably put this in A tier though, above the Holdovers. I know, Holdover fans, I know Holdovers is that good, but still. Rise of the TMNT Mutant Mayhem, that's my jam right there. This is clearly my jam. Asteroid City, this is another film that's also my jam here, where it is just so Wes Anderson. It's kind of parodying itself. I recently watched a video from Patrick Williams, I think, on YouTube. It was Wes Anderson's X-Men, which I gotta say is so Wes Anderson. I thought he actually consulted on it or something because it's really, really good. It's kind of like how Wes Anderson would direct the X-Men if he had that IP or whatever, but still. He would never, ever do that, but still, it's kind of hilarious. Anyway, though, Asteroid City, this is actually a pretty decent film, in my opinion. Is it the best Wes Anderson has ever made? No. Is it better than Moonrise Kingdom or The Grand Budapest Hotel? No. But it is unapologetically Wes Anderson. And I love Wes Anderson films. I mean, come on. Is it very, very OCD levels of parallel framing and all that? Absolutely, but still, it's so. I just love his filmmaking style. Now, it is a little bit slower in the middle for me, at least. I mean, Tom Hanks also is a fabulous actor. He's in this film. I'm kind of mixing up things here, but yeah, Tom Hanks is a great. I think it's his first collaboration with Wes Anderson, so there's that. But the middle is a little bit slower, in my opinion. It doesn't do a whole lot in regards to story and all that type of thing. So again, I'll probably put this in B tier. if it wasn't that slow in the middle, I would probably put this in A tier. But this is mid. It's above. It's a little bit below Killers of the Flower Moon in my opinion. But anyway, yeah. Let's see, what else do we have here? Priscilla. You want a realistic interpretation of Elvis? Here it is. Instead of the bombastic Elvis from 2022 and all that, you get this film from Sofia Coppola. This tells the story of Elvis from Priscilla's perspective and all that. It's pretty good, in my opinion. I mean, if you want a more, like I said, more realistic interpretation of Elvis, instead of like the bombastic one from last year, this is it. This is it. And it delves a lot into basically Priscilla's perspective, because if you don't know, she actually got married to Elvis when she was underage, or they met when she was underage, so there's that. And it's very compelling, and everything from Sofia Coppola, directing wise, is absolutely spectacular, and this film is no exception. Personally, oh gosh, okay, I would prefer this Elvis over Austin Butler's Elvis. I know, crazy, but they're two really great Elvises, okay? This one's just more realistic, in my opinion. And the amount of Elvis content that we've gotten so far is actually really, really good, in my opinion. I mean, we haven't gotten Elvis biopics ever, and now we got like two-ish, right? I mean, it's about damn time. I mean, Elvis was just jam-packed with just a really interesting and great story. And he's the king of rock. He was like the first king of any music ever, probably, that gained big recognition and all that. So there's that. I don't know. Anyway, love this film. Probably put it underneath the Holdovers. Just because the only reason is because it's a little bit sadder, and I don't really like sadder films, but overall, great, wonderful, direction and just everything put together very nicely. I really do enjoy this film. Anyway. Oh, I can barely read that. Keep on forgetting about this film. Let me just double check what this film is called. There's Haunting in Venice. Okay. And I did see this film. It was more like a horror film in summer, like a Halloween film in summer, which I thought is kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, this is another Murder on the Orient Express type of film with Clouseau, whoever the detective is, I forget his name, but anyway. Honestly, I think this film series kind of peaked with Murder on the Orient Express, because honestly, until I saw this film was in theaters, I didn't even know this film existed. But honestly, though, it wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good, but I can't remember most things from it. The scares weren't really all that scary either. I guess they tried to do like a horror aspect film or whatever, but it just didn't work, in my opinion. And, yeah, that's all I gotta say about it. I can barely remember exactly what happened in there, but I remember everything in Murder on the Orient Express. Death on the Nile had that Armie Hammer controversy, so I remember that. If it didn't have that, I would barely remember that, but yeah, I barely remember this. I don't know anyone other than the director who also directed this film was the main detective or whatever. These films aren't bad, they're just not memorable. I don't know why. I can't barely remember this film. But anyway, I'm going to put it in C tier, mainly because I just can't remember it. But anyway, though, there's that. Iron Claw. This is probably the best film Zac Efron's been in a very, very long time. Is it good? I'd say it's good. It's not necessarily the best in regards to everything. We're just getting a lot of C and B tiers these days, aren't we? But anyway, yeah, this is a fairly decent film. It's, you know, like I said, it's like the boxing type of film and all that, like the normal boxing type of deal or whatever. Fairly interesting. Zac Efron does an amazing job as well, but still, I don't think he's rising to stardom. It's just not that, just not appealing, really. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's just not right in between Scream 6 and Leah right here. It's just not that great, you know. I'm getting a little bit bored. Let's just do, I need to get some more S tiers over here. What's the deal with less S tiers? Anyway, Blackberry. Okay, this, we're getting into kind of the better biopics, in my opinion, at least. My gosh, man, I needed to see this film. This film is just amazing. You know how we used to have buttons on the phones, you know, on the smartphones. Now we don't because of Apple and all that. And it's a very compelling story. Also, what's also very interesting is that Apple TV Plus, it's on Apple TV Plus, which is kind of ironic to say the least. But anyway, awesome film. Just amazing. Wonderful. I'm putting this above TMNT right here. It's so compelling. The drama's just beautiful. Another one. Another great biopic here. Tetris. I wanted to see this film for a very long time. I saw, for all those who are not terminally online like me, I saw this amazing documentary on YouTube from the gaming historian about the history of Tetris, and it was so compelling. I needed a film based on this, and it's here with Taron Egerton. Apparently, you know, I used to play Tetris a whole lot, you know, back in the day, even today, but still, it's like so, the story behind it is so compelling because the guy made this in a Soviet, government lab or whatever. He just made this computer game that he used to play around, and then he sold it off. It's dramatic, it's fulfilling. It's sort of like Flaming Hot, you know, like that type of film where it's like this janitor, you know, put some hot sauce on Cheetos or something, or a hot dust on Cheetos and made a Flaming Hot Cheetos. It's that compelling. And I think that's a very underrated, I think Flaming Hot is probably a very underrated biopic in my opinion, and so is this film. I've not seen a lot of talk recently about this film, and it's I don't know, maybe it's because I'm nostalgic on the story or something. Dare I say it though, we got us an S tier, ladies and gentlemen. We got ourselves an S tier all day on this film. I really enjoyed it, and I couldn't believe I'm actually seeing this film being brought to life, honestly. Wonka. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. So when they were promoting this film as being a prequel to the what was it? The original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, because they did a remake on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in the early 2000s, and it was terrible, except for the chocolate. The chocolate actually looked like chocolate, not brown water. But other than that, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was terrible. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is an alright classic. But they were trying to make this film as like the prequel to the original film. I was very skeptical on this, mainly because what can you do with a Wonka prequel? So they made this film, and with Timothée Chalamet and the director of the Paddington films. I was like, oh wait, okay, well there's some talent with this. Still very, very skeptical, but you got my interest at least. I'm gonna see how big of a trash fire this is. But come to find out, turns out this film, not that bad. It's actually pretty good. It's on the same level as the Paddington films, and I love the Paddington films. They are unequivocally awesome, okay? They're just wonderful. This film, it's on that same par, maybe a little bit less, actually probably a lot less, but still, it had everything going against it, but it was just chef's kiss. I can't believe it brought the whimsy, It got the whimsy back from the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original film, in strides. There are a few issues I have overall with this film. I don't know if it's necessarily the director's fault or whatever, but the color grading is just a little bit too dark, in my opinion. I mean, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, they were like bright. It was like eye candy, right? Here it's just a little too dark. And Timothée Chalamet, he's fine. He's supposed to be the predecessor to Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder, but I personally would suspect, the bear, that guy, to be a younger Gene Wilder, that type of thing. Timothée Chalamet doesn't really look a whole lot like him, but, those are nitpicks, honestly. But anyway, this film is a certified banger. I'm going to put this A tier. I can't believe I'm saying this, because I had every notion of this film being like F tier, but nope. It's that good, ladies and gentlemen. It's that good. Anyway, onward and upward to Saw X. Now, this franchise is just fell to the wayside, honestly. It is so... I mean, this is basically a guilty pleasure for people, in my opinion, at least. But yeah, Saw 1, really, really good. Like, probably one of the best horror films of all time. And yeah. Saw 2 was fairly good. Saw 3 was fairly good. The rest are just kind of mishmash altogether. They're basically Hallmark original movies in the way they're shot, in the way that the saturation is. It's just like a TV movie being put on screen, basically, up until Saw the final chapter, which apparently is not the final chapter. So there you go. Anyway, they're all just completely and idiotically stupid. The further you go into it, the worse it gets. Oh boy. Anyway, then you got Spiral, which Chris Rock was actually touting this as like, oh, it's in the world of Saw, but it's not the same. It's not the same thing. And it was the most safest Saw film I have ever seen. It was so boring, I couldn't really remember exactly what happened in it. I know Samuel L. Jackson was in it. The only reason why that film even had the notion of working was because of Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know what he does, but brings his charisma through even the worst films, including that. Anyway, Saw X is basically Return to Form. It is not good. Oh gosh. Ugh. Yeah, the Saw, it almost cut my throat off. But anyway, Saw X is not good by any stretch of the imagination. Okay? But if you are a fan of Saw, you will enjoy Saw. Okay? This is just basically a guilty pleasure film, and it knows it's a guilty pleasure film. So it just goes balls to the wall with the traps. It goes to great lengths to just be just hilarious and silly and all that crap. It's basically it's wonderful. It's as wonderful as a really a very much gorific film can be. If you are a fan of Saw, you will enjoy this film. I'm going to put this in B tier, mainly because it knows it's a guilty pleasure. Otherwise, it's not as good. Again, it's not as good as the first one, but still, it is just, oh gosh. It's just that great. I gotta say. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 should not have worked, okay? Marvel is suffering right now, okay? Marvel is clearly suffering. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is without a doubt the best thing Marvel has put out in like 2, maybe 3 years. I can't even keep track of everything that's going on right now. It's the best thing that came out this year, let me tell you. Show-wise, film-wise, it is the best thing, without a shadow of a doubt. It's the culmination of the Guardians franchise, and it's just that good. I was laughing throughout. I was crying at certain points. It was so captivating, and I was scared through it too. Like the High Evolutionary or whatever, he was like one of the most compelling villains I've seen through Marvel in a very long time, since Thanos probably. This film is spectacular. And spoiler alert, I am off of the MCU train. I'm not necessarily, really deep into the MCU as I once was. But let me tell you something, okay? This film kind of reignited my MCU craze to the point where I'm just curious now about MCU-ness instead of, actively searching them out. So, because of that, it's S tier, baby. S tier all day. And I know technically maybe it's not necessarily the best film that came out in theaters right now, but I gotta say, man, I enjoy myself, and that's something I haven't done with an MCU property in a very long time. So yeah, the S tier all day. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. So yeah, this is a Judy Blume book being translated to a film, and honestly, it's not that bad. It's actually pretty good for what it is. Is it the best thing that came out in theaters? Absolutely not. But it's an enjoyable romp. It's enjoyable. That's something we really needed these days. It's something to just be enjoyable and not be existential or anything like that. It just needs to be enjoyable. And you know what? This film is. So, because of that, and because I'm a fan of Judy Blume, I'm gonna put it in A tier, above, like slightly below John Wick Chapter 4. What can I say? Judy Blume's got my heart. Let me put it that way. Nimona. Of all the films that were kind of being touted as the best thing in theaters or whatever, or something, Nimona, oh yeah, this is really good. Let me tell you. Now here's the thing. The animation, I will say this, looks like it's missing something, like it's missing another render, because the animation style looks a little too cartoony. Now, to be fair, this was a Netflix kind of took it over after Disney canceled it after buying Blue Sky, because it was a Blue Sky film. But this is basically the best Blue Sky film in its entirety, okay? Without a shadow of a doubt. The only thing that kind of, hampers that a little bit was the Peanuts movie, which I think I enjoy a little bit better than this film, but still, Nimona is probably the best Blue Sky film ever created. But yeah, this film is exciting, it's gut-wrenching, it's a whole bunch of different things, and it's just fun. These are the fun films. Why did Disney, not release this? This is kind of insanitary. Maybe it's because of the LGBTQ plus inclusion here, because it's a really big part of this film. I don't personally care, but Disney, with just including it for the sake of inclusivity and deleting it in other, countries and all that, just for one scene, no, Disney. No. Anyway, this film's great, and without a shadow of a doubt, this is probably the best animated film other than Across the Spider-Verse. So, putting it above TMNT. I know. Color me shocked. But anyway. Oh gosh. I forgot what this film was. Let me just double check here. I don't know why. I'm having a hard time. The Killer. Okay, there we go. So that's a little bit of foreshadowing. But yeah, The Killer is a very well done film. Michael Fassbender gives a performance that is probably the best performance he's given in a very long time. However, I don't remember it. It's just not that memorable in my personal opinion. Now, it is a very well done, very interesting film, but honestly, I don't know why it is, but I just don't remember a lot of this film. It's just kind of sort of paint by the numbers, in my opinion. It's just doesn't really capture the imagination like John Wick or anything like that. Although it's trying to be very much like John Wick. But anyway, putting it above Haunting in Venice, because I just can't remember it. Air, my gosh, man. Something I can remember. Ben Affleck's back in the director realm. He directed this film about how Nike acquired Jordans, man, and how Nike became a worldwide hit. Amazing. Just spectacular. Is it as good as the other two big biopics in this franchise, in this list? No. But dare I say it, it is very well done as well. I'm probably going to put this in between Wonka and TMNT right here. I don't personally think it's going to get any Oscar consideration, although it should, in my opinion, but, you know, whatever. And Still Alice. This is another film that's getting very high regard for Oscar contention and all that. And obviously the reason why is because it's in the film industry, so you know there's going to be some things here. Anyway, yeah, I'd say it's a very good film. It's just, again, doesn't really capture my imagination. However, the performances in this film should be noted here, okay? This could be another film for, who is this person? She was in Still Alice. I can't remember who she is. But anyway, she could get Oscar-worthy performance here. She could get an Oscar nomination. Natalie Portman, also another Academy Award nomination for this performance and all that. Very well done. I'm going to put it below Ferrari, at least in my opinion. It just, I don't know. It's not necessarily that spectacular in my personal opinion, to say the least. Now, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. My gosh, man. Talk about a film that had an upward trajectory. Very difficult, hard mountain to climb because the first D&D film was absolute trash. This is camp in its most concentrated, most egregious form, and I love it, okay? Chris Pine, fantastic. All the performances are just absolutely spectacular. Everyone's having a grand old time. It's basically like a D&D campaign brought into a film, and it's just wonderful. It's just puts a smile on my face. And that's what I gotta say here. A lot of these films just put a smile on my face, and it's just, this is D&D incarnate. This is what D&D needed, and this is what D&D deserves. So without further ado, another A tier. I know, putting it right above Ferrari. If I can get it correct here, there we go. It's just that great. I'm glad there's a lot of A tiers. Oh my gosh, just a lot of amazing films happened in this round. Anyway, this year. Missing is another of those films that's taking place within like a computer screen, but this one's done fairly decently. Is it as good as Searching? I personally don't think so. I mean, we got that, Alright, I'm actually gonna look up her name here because Storm Reed. Okay, I remember her name. Storm Reed. She's been in a lot of terrible films. Okay, I don't know. I'm not personally gonna put it on her, but whenever I see her in a film, I'm just like, oh shoot, she's in the film. I might as well just skirt along, you know? Might as well just skirt along, not really watch it. However, I think her trajectory kind of changed when she was in The Suicide Squad in a very minor role. But that was still a really decent film. Like, really wonderful. And she was a part of it. And she's starring in this film as well. I gotta say, this film is wonderful. This film is really, really good. Is it as good as Searching? Not necessarily. You know, it's on par. Let me just say that. It's on par. I wouldn't put it above Searching, though. But still, a wonderful little horror Zoom film. I'm going to put this in B tier. Below Saw X, because I don't know, just Saw X is just kind of a little superior in my opinion. Anyway, Oh gosh, Rachel Zegler in the Hunger Games: the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The prequel to the Hunger Games. Oh boy. So, you ever wonder how President Snow became President Snow? Here you go. Anyway, I don't know necessarily if they're going to get a sequel, because as of now, I can't find anything on having a sequel, but they're keeping it open for a sequel, of course, because you got to. But anyway, I liked how, personally, I really did enjoy this film. It's not necessarily, member berries of the Hunger Game franchise. It's mostly its own thing, which I gotta say, very well done. And President Snow is actually a compelling character. He becomes evil throughout the film, and he sort of has that evil tendency and an ambition, but he's a very compelling character. Rachel Zegler, who I cannot stand, mostly in certain roles in films or whatever, like her real life counterpart, actually did a really good job in West Side Story, and I can barely tell the difference between her performance in that and in this film, because she's got like that southern drawl, and I'm like, wow, wonderful. That is really good. No wonder you're getting more roles, because it's just that good. But anyway, there is one scene though. There is like a section of this film where it's all just member berries, where Rachel Zegler, sings the Hunger Games song, are you coming to the tree, type of thing. And when I was that, I was like, okay. And she explains about the Mockingjay and all that. And I was like, okay. And then, President Snow, kind of, spoiler, falls for Rachel Zegler, and they're in District 11 or District 12. Yeah, District 12. So that's why he hates District 12, is because his long lost love is there. It's just that type of stuff that kind of is like, the other parts of the film were really, really good and really compelling up until this one. That's just like, remember this, remember that, remember this, you remember that? So it kind of draws it a little bit lower, in my opinion. However, it's still high up there. I can't believe I'm saying this, especially, again, these films are surprising me. Wonka, I thought was going to be a piece of crap, but turns out it's actually really good. TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, actually really good. D&D, Honor Among Thieves, actually really good. This is also really, really good. I would put it like A- B+ tier. I know, I am shocked just as much as you are. But still, this is a fabulous new film in the Hunger Games saga. Let me tell you. If they make a sequel, I will be there. I don't know, because they haven't made a sequel book yet, which is kind of shocking. I don't know where that is, but I don't know. I am hopelessly waiting for the sequel. Anyway, Blue Beetle. I have wanted to see a Blue Beetle film for a very, very long time, and it's fine. It's perfectly serviceable. It's kind of like Shazam, where I thought Shazam was really, really good. This is like a step down from Shazam in my personal opinion, but still, Blue Beetle, seeing Blue Beetle in theaters, kind of tugs at the heartstrings, It's kind of tugs at the heartstrings right there. I'm going to put Blue Beetle, of course, B tier, just in between Killers of the Flower Moon and Asteroid City. I know it shouldn't necessarily be here, but I had an enjoyment ride with this film. I don't know if it's going to be in the DCEU. Otherwise, I probably put it, I don't know. It was going to be in the wider DCEU. I don't know if I put it in like C tier maybe. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. The Little Mermaid, oh my gosh. Holy crap. Okay, listen. So this film was actually better in some parts and worse in other parts. So let's just boil it down. Let's just talk about it. So first thing that we gotta address is the casting. Now, here's the thing. Before anyone talks about it or puts words in my mouth, I do not care. I do not care. Sorry, I'm getting some tissue right here. But yeah, I do not care if she is white, black, red, yellow, orange, purple, blue. I don't care what color her skin is, okay? As long as she gives an outstanding performance, I don't care. Blowing my nose here, but that's besides the point. That's what I give to her performance. Her performance in this film was atrocious. Okay, listen. She is basically sleepwalking through this performance. Whoever her name is, I'm not even gonna find her name because it's just bad. She's from like Grownish, and I could tell immediately from, you know, her role in Grownish that she wasn't going to be good because she doesn't have that visceral or anything like that, you know. In fact, I think there's this other film that came out that I haven't watched actually, but it was Peter Pan and Wendy. Tinkerbell was actually the girl from Grownish, like the star, and she did a ton better than this person did at The Little Mermaid. I was like, my gosh, they completely just should have changed it up a little bit here. But anyway, yeah, her performance, I'll tell you what, she sings very, very well. Don't get me wrong. But when she doesn't sing, and there's a point in this film where they keep true, where she doesn't sing, it's bad. The performance is terrible. I couldn't believe what I was watching. She was if it was, I don't know, Nicole Kidman or something, she would be sleepwalking through this, just being there. And I know she was trying her hardest to be an actress, and it wasn't working. I'm sorry. No hate toward her. I'm certain she's, you know, a decent person in real life, but it's just awful. The performance was just terrible. Anyway, though, again, I don't care about her skin color. All I care about is the performance, and the performance was bad. I would personally enjoy the Grownish woman, the Grownish girl from, like, the star of Grownish actually being Ariel, but that's just me. Whatever. Anyway, onward to other things. Awkwafina as the bird is just stupid. This is the worst she's ever done. This is the most grating, the most awful she's ever been in anything, and I hate it. The bird swims. How does the bird swim and, you know, stay underwater for a very long time? I am not a nature person, right? But this bird that's supposed to be, you know, the comedic relief here, one of the comedic reliefs, is swimming now under the water and does a rap. She raps. No. Stop it right there. No. Awful. Bad movie. Bad. Anyway. Sebastian is actually pretty decent in this film. Flounder, Didn't necessarily like his CGI-ness. Yeah, they try to mesh the cartooniness with the realistic interpretation. It could have looked a lot worse, let me tell you. Some people were kind of sharing the flounder. What flounder was going to look like in online, and it looked far worse than it did. Who knows? Maybe they did a patch like Sonic, like with Sonic, like ugly flounder or whatever with Disney. I don't know. Anyway, though, Javier Bardem was actually really decent as King Trident and all that. Very compelling. I gotta say, though, the biggest surprise, Melissa McCarthy as Ursula. I gotta say, probably the best part of the film. I know. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that she gave a performance this wonderful. I thought she was going to be the worst thing in this film. When I saw her as Ursula in the trailers, I was like, oh no. Oh no. No. Please no. But actually, she was pretty good. Give her an Academy Award, ladies and gentlemen. She's the best performance in this film. She should have like a Lifetime Achievement Award or something, because this is... She's got the acting chops, okay? My gosh. Can You Ever Forgive Me, or whatever that film was where she got the Academy Award nomination? Okay, I believe it now. I believe it. Just give her give her the Academy. Give her the award. Prince Eric is also very decent. They do like a whole other thing with like him being adopted, giving them... And I enjoy the chemistry in this film a tiny bit more than I do on paper, than I do with the first Little Mermaid, which I was actually shocked at. But still, what's the cornerstone of this film is the performance of Ariel, and Ariel was not good. She was terrible. She was terrible in my opinion. So, yeah. Oh gosh. Because dare I say, there was some good. There was some good in this film. But on principle, and the fact that the bird raps, I'm putting it in F tier. I know. Color everyone's shocked. A Disney live action adaptation of an animated property gets F tier, but it's... Yeah, they did some things that were good. One thing, dare I say, was a little bit better, but it's just the principle. Stop doing this, Disney. You gotta do something new and different instead of just the same, you know? Also, the ocean's dark. I hate the ocean being dark. It was colorful. It was vibrant in the animated film. Here it's just dark. I hated it for the most part, you know? No bubbles. You know how many bubbles there were in the first Little Mermaid? There were bubbles all over the place. Where's the bubbles? Stupid. Just stupid. Stupid. Anyway, something that's not stupid. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Haley Atwell is in this film. Beautiful. Awesome. Spectacular. Is this as good as Fallout? No. Is this as good as my personal favorite, Ghost Protocol? No. But it's up there. Let me tell you. It's far up there. They were touting this film as being like, oh yeah, Tom Cruise jumps a canyon or whatever, right? With a motorcycle. They were really, really showing that. And to that, I'm just like, yeah, that is good. But it's nothing like, holding his breath for like 5 minutes while he does very important tasks, or scaling the Burj Khalifa or whatever. It's fine. He does his duty. He could die, but that scene's really good. But it's just doesn't have that compellingness, doesn't have that air-defyingness to it. I don't know. Anyway, though, still a fabulous film. Overall, just love it. Again, A tier, but I'm putting it above. Yeah, I'm putting it above D&D. If I can, there we go. John Wick, I would say, is a slight bit better overall, story-wise, but yeah, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, still pretty decent. Anyway, Quantumania, F tier. F tier to the greatest extent possible. This film, look, I'm not even gonna do this with a response. You've seen all the criticisms of it. The CGI's awful, the story's awful, everything's awful in this film. They try to be Avengers, but they fail tremendously. This film, I will sum this up very, very swiftly with this. This film made me lose interest in the MCU. I was apologetic towards the MCU for a long, long time. I apologized for Loki season 1. I apologized for Hawkeye-ish. But once this film came out, I was like, no, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. It got reinvigorated a little bit with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But this one is just still just absolutely the worst thing I have seen this year. And I cannot believe I'm saying that to an MCU film. But it's true. This is the worst thing I've seen. All throughout the theaters. All throughout TV and streaming and all that. This is the worst thing. I cannot believe they crapped this thing out. Peyton Reed, I'm sorry. It's not. No, I'm sorry. Elemental. This is the most cookie cutter Pixar film in its entirety. But it does have some good ideas in it. I wouldn't say it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It is not bad in the slightest. However, it's just missing that Pixar charm to it, It's just missing something. It's just kind of the elements kind of coexisting together and all that. It's basically Zootopia, but I think Zootopia did it a lot better than Elemental did. I would say overall, I did not hate watching this film, but it's just still, it's missing something. It's missing a lot. Missing the Pixar charm, really, But anyway, I'm putting this in C tier. It's very disappointing, to say the least. I'm going to put it high C tier, though, because the animation is actually really good, as per usual with Pixar, but again, there's much more. I can't believe a Sony animated film is higher than a Pixar film. We live in a wild and crazy world, just like the Marvels. Once again, this film really blows. It's not good. Is it as bad as Quantumania? No. I'll tell you this. Out of everybody in this film, I would give the best performances to... I would bet that the best performances would come out of the Academy Award-winning actors and actresses in this film. But instead, it came out of Camilla Khan. I forget her name, but she is the best thing in this film. I could not believe it. Brie Larson's just sleepwalking through this. Samuel L. Jackson is like the comedic relief in this film, which he has never been. And this is not a Skrull. This is actually him. And then there's a tie-in with the X-Men at the end. I was like, no. No. Okay, no. That's why I'm putting it in D tier. D minus, ladies and gentlemen. D to the minus. Again, it has Camilla Khan in it. But that's the only thing that's got it anything worth of value or whatever, you know? It's just, yeah. Past Lives. This is oh, thank God, a great film. Wonderful film. I think it's in Korean or Japanese. I can't remember which one. But anyway, still, a fabulous film. It's like a rom-com set in that type of area. Really, really well done. I'm trying not to be... yeah, anyway, sorry. I've lost my train of thought there. I was watching the ads. I don't know what's going on with the ads. Anyway, fabulous film, putting it in A tier, above American Fiction. It's wonderful. This deserves the awards. Let me just say that outright. Deserves the awards. The Flash does not. Oh gosh. With everything happening with Ezra Miller, I could not believe that they actually released this film the way it did. Because it's just... it's kind of a train wreck. I would put it in D tier. I can't talk about this film anymore. It's just... If I can put it in D tier, let me put it in D tier. There we go. Better than Aquaman. Better than The Marvels because of Michael Keaton as Batman. Actually, I'll put The Marvels above Aquaman because of Michael Keaton as Batman. That was wonderful, but I just hated the fact that for most of the movie we had two Ezra Millers that were just annoying. Holy crap, that was no. I'm sorry. No. Anyway, Barbie. The end of Barbenheimer, ladies and gentlemen. Now, dare I say it, this is also a fabulous film. This is much better than it deserves to be. Along with the Lego Movie. The Lego Movie was a ton better than it should have been. The Barbie, the movie, is a ton better than it should be, okay? It's a lot. Greta Gerwig, my gosh. I thought she was just losing her marbles when she agreed to be in this, agreed to direct this film, but lo and behold, it worked out in wonders. Now, here's the thing. I would prefer Oppenheimer over this film. It does do a lot of social commentary in it, but I think this is good social commentary. It borders the line, though, okay? After all the social commentary in all the movies that I've seen in the past, since 2015 or 2014 or whatever, this one is good. It teeters the line, though, but it's Greta Gerwig gets it correct. Ryan Gosling should deserve an Academy Award. Margot Robbie, best performance that she has given in a very long time, even better than Harley Quinn. And I loved her as Harley Quinn. Yeah, it's that good, ladies and gentlemen. It's that good. I'm putting it in S tier, borderline A plus S minus tier right here. Below Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know directions. Anyway, bottoms. This is another fabulous film. I just can't remember it though. It's kind of it's just not that memorable in my opinion. However, it is, from what I can remember, it's a really great film. I'm just going to put it in C tier for now, at least. Not a whole lot to say on that. Anyway, though. The Boy and the Heron. I was waiting on this film forever. I knew, this film actually premiered in Japan, a year or two ago, and I was waiting was waiting, and I was waiting, and it finally came out. My gosh. Hayao Miyazaki saved Studio Ghibli out of the crutches of Earwig and the Witch controversy shenanigans. My gosh, this is beautiful. The second PG-13 film that Studio Ghibli's made, and it's beautiful. It's everything Studio Ghibli and more. If this is a swan song for Studio Ghibli, what a film to go out on. It's just that great. I'm losing my voice because it's just that great, okay? I know I said the first Slam Dunk is technically the best animated film overall, but I'm putting it S tier. I know, I'm a Studio Ghibli nut, I'm sorry. Yeah, I put it above Guardians. It's just that good. It's just, I love Studio Ghibli, okay? Sue me, I'm sorry. S tier all day for me, yeah. Still, a Michael J. Fox story. This is the best documentary I've seen all year. Probably the only documentary I've seen all year, honestly. But still, this captures the imagination. This, along the same lines as, you know, Won't You Be My Neighbor? That's all. That's all I have to say on it. It's just kind of captivating. And it's on Apple TV Plus. I highly recommend you guys go and see it. It's just that great. It's that great of a film. A tier. I'm glad there's so many S tiers and A tiers this year. It's just wonderful. Creed 3. And a lot of people forgot this film. Mainly because of Jonathan Majors. But anyway, it's actually really, really decent. Is it as good as the first Creed? No. But it's better than the second Creed, let me tell you. Rocky is not in this film. That's the only thing that's holding it back from being, you know, above, beyond perfection for me. But yeah. It takes a lot of anime style of fighting and all that, which I gotta say, very nice, very well done. Kind of reinvigorating the franchise again, you know? I mean, boxing movies have been done to death over and over and over again, you know? I mean, we got the Iron Claw. I forget where I put the Iron Claw. Where did I put the Iron Claw? Oh, yeah, B tier. Yeah, so this also reinvigorated, you know, having anime style in this. And you know what? I'm all for it. This is also a new person. This is not an old person from, you know, Rocky's past or whatever that's coming to fight and all that, you know? Overall, the Creed films have been very, very good. And I gotta say, this is also a great Creed film. So, putting it above Blue Beetle, the only thing keeping it from A tier, Sylvester Stallone's not in it. But then again, there's this whole other controversy there I'm not gonna really get into. But anyway, yeah, there's that. Dream scenario, my gosh, man. If Nicolas Cage was gonna get a second Academy Award, this would be this film. It's that good, ladies and gentlemen. My gosh, it's just wonderful. Again, another wonderful film. The only thing I'll say about this film is that this guy, Nicolas Cage, appears in people's dreams, and yeah, that's all I'll say on it. It's basically about cancel culture, and it's done very, very well. And this is like, you know, the, conversational piece like Barbie, you know, like the social commentary and all that. This is also social commentary, but done in probably the most creative way possible. And I like that. I'm not putting it in S tier because I don't think it's S tier quality, but it's still an amazing film. I'm putting it below Blackberry because it's just that good. It is simply awesome. Simply awesome. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I have no idea why everyone hates this film. It's not that bad, guys. It's not that bad. It's better than Crystal Skull. Why is everyone defending Crystal Skull now? It's like the sequels came out of the Star Wars and everyone's defending the prequels. This film came out and everyone's defending Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. No. Just no. Yes, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is not necessarily the best character, but she's a lot better than Mutt, especially later on. And I love Shia LaBeouf, but no, I'm sorry, just no. The first 20 minutes, it was showing, young Indiana Jones, what we all wanted to see, him fighting Nazis. There you go. James Mangold did an amazing job. I don't understand why everyone hates this film so much. It's really good. I really liked it. It was really enjoyable. It brought back the vitriol and the blood and the gore of regular Indiana Jones. I'm sorry. I gotta... There are a few things that are wrong with this film. Like, for instance, I personally think that Indy should have just stayed in the past because he loves history so much. Yeah, the CGI was a little iffy. Yeah, his voice was old Harrison Ford, not young Harrison Ford, but still, I'm starting to sound like old Harrison Ford right now. My voice is going. But still, it's still a great film. Color me shocked. I know. I'm going to uproar the internet. I'm putting it in A tier. I know. Color me shocked. Whatever. Just whatever. Anyway. One thing I will agree, though, with everybody on the internet, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, this is terrible. My gosh, this is awful. This film is just the worst. This film would have been the worst if it wasn't for Quantumania being just absolute trash. But this film is just absolutely just awful. This is supposed to be Winnie the Pooh. This is not a mask. This is Winnie the Pooh. In the flesh. No. You can't tell me that a stupid Winnie the Pooh mask is Winnie the Pooh. No. I'm putting it in F tier. I appreciate what they did with the commentary, the social, the reason for this film being made is because it's in the public domain. I appreciate that. Sticking it to the man, sticking it to Disney, whatever, all that stuff. But make a good film instead of making like a just cheap piece of crap. Anyway, though, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I really enjoyed this film. It's not as good as the first Shazam. A lot of people are saying that this is kind of mediocre. I dare say it's not that bad. In fact, this is probably the best DC EU film to come out this year. By a long shot. It's not Guardians of the Galaxy level by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm putting it in C- tier. Reason why I'm not really talking about it all that much is because my voice is going, guys. I need to finish up. Talk to Me. What a great film to end out on, because this is kind of interesting to say the least, because this is a horror film directed by some YouTubers who just love making films, and this has got a wide release in theaters. It was really successful, and it was actually really good, and it's kind of inspiring. It's inspiring for me because I want to be a filmmaker. I know I dissed a lot of filmmakers, but some, for my own opinion, some maybe not, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, it just, kind of gives me hope that one day maybe I could be a filmmaker. Hopefully one day I can maybe people can not necessarily see the bad of the YouTubers and kind of see the good. So yeah, on that principle, and because of the fact the film's actually pretty decent and really good, rounding out 8s here. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna put this. Where's the other one? Oh yeah, all the other ones are down there. I'm gonna put it right there. But yeah, that concludes all the films that I've seen in 2023. Moving on to 2024. And I know this is in February, but still. Anyway, though, guys, what do you think? Where would you rank all these films? Why don't you comment and let me know? And don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. More vids come your way. And hey, take care, guys.